Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover demonstration on a 2016 Auto-Trail Delaware. So as we walk down the driver's side of the vehicle, if you open this locker with the square West alloy key here, and then to help it up, if you just put your foot underneath and slide the locker up, this is where you'll find your 2 leisure batteries and main fuse, and you'll also find your hookup point. So to hook the vehicle up, get your hookup lead, lift the collar back, slide it on. Always hook the vehicle up first and then walk to your power source, and do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle, as we wouldn't want you walking around with a live lead. Pop the cable into here, and then you can lock the side locker to stop the hookup lead getting stolen. And then you can put your little bits and pieces like your leveling ramps and your chocks and your hookup lead in there. And also you'll notice this is your grey water tap there, so this is your waste water. So anything you put down the plug hole goes into a waste holding tank, and then normally when you drive out of a site there's a motorhome service bay, and you just open the lever and it'll drain off like so. Above the locker you do have a wet locker, so this is just behind your kitchen sink, so you can store things in there. And you've got your external shower point here, so as long as the pump's on, you'll be able to push the bullfish connection in, turn it from off to on. Either you've got hot or cold, depending if you've got the hot will only work if you've had the boiler on. And this is great for the bikes, the dogs, the boots, the wellies, or the children. Fresh water fill up. So I would go and buy yourself a hose pipe. It doesn't have to be a food graded hose pipe, it can just be one that you haven't used in the garden. And some hose connections, because most of it's just a brass tap on site. And then you've got your lockable cap there, so you can unlock it. Put your hose into there, fill it until it overflows, until you're happy you've got enough water on board. If you're going wild camping, you will have to travel with a full tank, but if you're going to a site, try to just travel with 20 litres, so it gives you an opportunity to stop and use the toilet or have a cup of tea on your journey there. And obviously you can see what's in your water tank on your control panel above the habitation door, which I'll show you once we're inside. And then when you want to drain off the water that you filled up here, so fresh, so i.e. you've taken on contaminated water, or you are draining down for the winter, you just turn and open here, and obviously you can drain the water off like so. So again, you drive over a grid and you'll be able to drain this off. Moving further back, you've got your vent for your Truma boiler, so do make sure this is obstruction free at all times, as it allows these fumes out for the water heater and the boiler. And then to operate these locks, so to lock the vehicle, what you need to do is you've got a little line on there, make sure the line's pointing at the back of the vehicle. Once the lock's popped out like so, half a turn with the key and push it in, and then to unlock, half a turn with the key and then turn it right to the front. And then in here you do have your garage area, so you've got your carpet, a hookup blade there, and in the corner here is your boiler drain. So your boiler's behind here, so in the winter it's very important that you don't allow the boiler to freeze, so you must drain it off. And this yellow toggle down means it's keeping the water in. If you lift the toggle up, you'll see the water drain off, and this is hot water, and basically you drain the water off, so 10 litres will drain directly underneath the chassis, drain it all off, and this stops any water from freezing in the boiler, as if it does freeze, it's a very expensive mistake to make and isn't covered under warranty. And then you'd also want to open the fresh and the waste outside, which I've just shown you, all the taps within the vehicle, to stop any water from freezing in the pipes or the tanks within the vehicle, as they're only plastic and will expand and then split. And again, this will cost a lot of money to repair. So always drain off your boiler, which is here, if you are leaving the vehicle stored in the winter months. Coming around to the back of the vehicle, you've got your reverse camera in there and your high level brake. So that's the one that looks down from the vehicle, which I'll show you inside. Spare wheels behind here, so it opens with the same key. This lifts off, big nut behind there lifts the fiberglass panel off, and there's a full size spare wheel. You've had an extra additional camera fitted underneath by the last owner. And then if we walk onto the passenger side of the vehicle, obviously you've got your bigger garage door here. You've got your external barbecue point, so you can use the bottles from on the front and connect your barbecue Kadak through here. Toilet. So to use the toilet, we've opened the locker like so. Make sure the blade's closed on the bottom bowl of the toilet and you'll be able to lift the cassette out. You've got a handle here so you can drag the cassette round the site when full and empty. What you do is you would take the cap off like so, go to the waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your shower block. Press this button as you're pouring it out and it'll just allow it to give it a consistent flow, stops it glugging. Once you've emptied it, there's normally a tap, you put some water in, give it a shake, rinse it out, and then you would then use the cap, do a cap full of liquid, pour it into here, and then it's ready to go back into the vehicle and be used. Got your fridge vents, your awning light, LPG, this is your gas locker, so liquid petroleum gas. And open this, if you just open the door and there's a little handle here, you slide it back and in here you can fit 2 gas bottles, so you can fit normally a 6 in an 11 or 2 6s depending on how you want to run with gas bottles. Always make sure that the bottle is securely strapped in when it's in transit, and obviously once you've put the bottle in, just strap it in, turn it off when you're traveling and on when you're stationary, and then get the pigtail on, so it's a left hand thread, opposite threads with it being gas, hand tighten, turn on at the top of the bottle. And then should you have any problems with the gas coming through, there's a little green button on the regulator here. You might want to just press and hold that for 3 seconds, which allows the gas to go into the vehicle. Space for a second bottle. And then on the passenger door, this is where your diesel filler cap is. So it opens with the main ignition key. Just here, it's just a lockable diesel cap. You can fill with fuel and then lock your filler cap. On the slam panel, you do have your tyre pressures, so 5.5 bar front and back, which is 79.5 psi, so they're nearly running at 80 psi all round. Engine battery lives underneath the floor, so should you ever have to get it out, you'd have to get it out through the cab floor. Toolkit's underneath the passenger seat, which has got a jackknip brace and a towing iron, so anything you need to be towed away or change a wheel. And your bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard there. So if we just have a quick look underneath the bonnet, you've got your weight plate there, so it's 4.5 ton. If you were to put a tow bar on tow, you can tow up to 6 ton, which is the train weight of the trailer and the motorhome. You've got your paint code here, so should you ever need a touch-up pen or paint to repair any damage of the cab, this is the Grigio colour paint code. And obviously you've just got a weight plate saying exactly the same as the Auto-Trail one, but it's on an Alco chassis as it's a Frontier. Then you've got your oil filler and your dipstick, brake fluid, radiator fluid and power steering fluid. You'd lift this off to fill those 2, and the main one you're going to need, which is your screen wash. And then should you ever need to jump start the vehicle, negative, which is the earth, onto here. And then if you just lift this cover off, you may have to put your key or a screwdriver in there if it locks. Your positive can go onto there to jump start the vehicle. So once you step into the vehicle, above the habitation door is your 12 volt control panel. So you've got your master switch here, which will give you 12 volt if you aren't hooked up, or if you do have the mains hook up in, it will give you 240 when you turn on and off. And if you are hooked up, you get a little electricity sign, which is just here indicating that you've got mains 240 volt power on board. Next to it, you've got your pump. So you turn your pump on for any use of any water within the vehicle, so taps, toilet, shower. You have to have this on, otherwise you'll just get whatever's left in the pipelines. You've got your switch for your lights within the vehicle, and then they all are individually switched. Your awning light, which is the light above the door outside. This is your dimmer to dim the lights underneath the cabinets, so you can press and hold to dim. You've got your power transfer, so it transfers the power from the leisure battery onto the engine battery and vice versa, but I wouldn't suggest using that because the motorhome will then switch over to using the engine battery and could flatten the battery, and then you will not be going anywhere. And then if it is going to be a cold frosty night and it's going to freeze overnight, you might want to put your tank heaters on, which puts some current through the water and stops it freezing. And then if you go to your home screen, so you've got your time, your home screen, you can then go through it. So you've got your vehicle, leisure, fresh and waste water levels there. So vehicle for the engine battery, leisure for the motorhome, fresh water, which is your blue water, and wastewater, which is your grey. Then you've got the vehicle volts, solar panel and the amps. Obviously solar panel does go to sleep when the vehicle is hooked up, and then you can set timers in there, and then it goes back to the start. Opposite it, you do have your Truma digital control panel. So this is your heating and hot water. So to operate, you'd press and hold to turn on and off. So press and hold to turn it completely off and the screen will go blank. Press and hold to turn it on, and then to enter you just press OK. So now you've got your menu. So you've got your motorhome with the thermometer flashing in the corner. This is the temperature of the vehicle. So you can have it all the way to 30 degrees or all the way to off. So once you're happy, you would just press enter to save it at 30 degrees of heating the vehicle. Then if you move on ever so slightly, you've got the water with the thermometer in, and this is how hot you want your water. So eco, you can have it off if you don't have any water in the tanks at all. Eco, which is about 40 degrees, hot, which is 60, and boost, which turns off the heating should you have it on and will prioritize the water. So for this, we'll just say hot, and again press to save. And moving on to the next one, you've got your gas bottle and your electricity signs. This is what source you want to heat the vehicle and the water off. So you've got gas on its own. If you're wild camping and you weren't hooked up, you'd have to use gas. You've got a mixture of 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. A mixture of 2 kilowatts of electric and gas, which you'd use in the winter months. Should it be too cold, this will boost the heating as it uses both sources. Electric on 1 kilowatt, which you might have to use on smaller CL sites, and electric on 2, which you can use in most camping and caravanning sites throughout the UK, depending on which power output they give you on the site. So for this, we'll just say mix 2 to heat the vehicle up quicker. And then moving further along, you've got your fan. So you've got eco, high or boost. Again, eco takes a lower feed of 12 volt, as it's just a 12 volt assisted fan, which you'd probably use if you're wild camping. High if you want to hook up, and boost will just turn the fans up to blow the heat around the van. So you can use all 3 settings depending on which one you want. So for this, we'll just say high. Then in the bottom corner, you do have a timer, so you can time it to come on and off. You've got a clock, which is displayed on the control panel, and if you ever got a warning triangle, you can go to the setting spanner there, go to reset, press enter, it'll then say preset, press enter, and it will reset the control panel. And as you can probably hear, as I've turned the fan up to high, the fan speed has slightly increased. And then again, to turn off, you'll just press and hold. So now in the kitchen area, you do have your 3 gas burner rings, which light like so that there's all 3 gas rings lit there. So when you have used it, allow it to cool down before you put the glass lid down. as it may shatter with the heat if it is put down too early. And then you do have one electric hot plate, which is on this one here, and you will get the small red light to indicate it's on. Just do be careful that you don't knock this, then hook the vehicle up and forget this is on, because again it will shatter the glass. So just do be careful with the hot plate. But if you are on a site, use your hot plate and don't waste your gas if you can on your hob. And then below you do have your grill. So there's your grill lit. Take your grill pan out when you travel or wrap it up, as this can be the main cause of rattling when on the road. And in your oven, so there's your oven light. There's your oven light. And you might want to just wrap this up, but always make sure that the two grooves are to the back of the oven and not the other way around on the oven shelf, as this stops and allows nothing to block the burner. Underneath you do have some storage, and your water pump is at the back there. So when you put the pump on and you get the vibrations from behind here, it's totally normal because your water pump's behind there. And there is your isolation plug for your oven hot plate. Should you ever have to isolate it, there's a switch on the socket there. You put your carousel cupboard with your cutlery tray in there. You put your Dometic oven hood, so you've got your light, or you can obviously have the fans on when cooking. Lights for your kitchen. Your microwave is only 240 volts. When hooked up it'll only work, so it's not a 12 volt microwave. And you press eco and wake it up, and then you can use it. It's an 800 watt household microwave. Obviously the plug's in there, and then you do have some cutlery and crockery holders there, so for your cups and your bowls. And then this is where you keep your handy sink cover there to give you more worktop space, and then when you travel simply stores away in here. And opposite to your oven you have your fridge. So to operate your fridge you turn on and off here, and then as you can see it says A, which is automatic energy selection, so it'll select the best source for you. So if you've got gas on board and it's open and you've got 240 volt on board, it obviously knows that it's not going to go onto gas and waste your gas, so it'll go onto 240 like it has now, which is the plug. And then should I unhook it, it will go onto the gas flame, which is gas. And then should I start the engine, it'll go on the battery setting, which isn't off your leisure battery, it's off your alternator. It sends a 12 volt feed to the fridge to keep the fridge at the same temperature. So basically acts as a cool box, a 12 volt cool box when you're traveling. So the idea here is that you hook it up the day before, put your shopping in the night before, allow it to chill overnight, and then when you are ready to start traveling you would just put it on to either automatic and it'll do its own thing, or you can manually turn it on to the battery. And as you can see, it's failed here because the alternator and the engine isn't running, and it'll keep the temperature as it was when departing until you arrive on site. So it'll get no cooler, but it'll get no warmer. It'll just keep the shopping nice and fresh and edible until you arrive on site. And then at the end of the season with your fridge, obviously you can increase your temperature here, and then if you put this setting on at the end, basically puts a bit of heat round the door, stops the rubber from sticking should you be on a site for a week. And should the fridge and freezer be at full temperature, it'll stop the doors from sticking. And then once you are finished for the season with the fridge freezer, if you do completely empty it, give it a wipe out, and then the last thing you want to do is close the doors, as it forms an airtight seal, and any air in there will then become mouldy and smelly, and it will then start growing bacteria and mold in the fridge and freezer. So what you need to do on both handles, so underneath, if you lift them up, there's a small toggle. It's grey on this one, and what you need to do is then lift it and slide it into there, and do the same on the oven, on the fridge door, sorry. And then, as you can see, air ventilation is then allowed in and out the fridge and freezer. And then this is just showing that your hot water is warm there. Underneath the fridge, you'll see these red taps. These are gas isolation taps, and these are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced by a HAB technician or ourselves. A technician will turn off each appliance and test that the gas is working accordingly. Should there be any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. Above the kitchen, you've got a fly screen and skylight and blackout blind here. So to open the skylight, you just press a button and pull back, or you can go into the grooves if it's a nice day to keep it open. Then you do have your blackout blind for on an evening, and your fly screen for when it's open. But always make sure all your windows and skylights are securely shut before you start travelling, as they shouldn't be open when you're on the road. Coming into the back of the vehicle, obviously you've got your toilet to one side, and that acts as your toilet door and your bedroom door if you wanted to. And then you do have your shower screen with a towel rail there, which is also great if you have been caught in the rain. You can hang your coats up there. And a little tip with the shower is, before we get into the toilet, during the winter months when the vehicle is standing and not being used, if you always make sure all the mixer taps are open in the middle position, and that you've taken the shower head off the hose, as you can see that it's got a loop in there, so any water will coil in here. If you lie it into the shower tray, any water will just drain out into the plug hole and out through the waste tank. Now coming on to the toilet. So to operate your toilet, what you need to do, you'll get the fan that kicks in first. So to stop the fan, you just press it. Once you've pressed it, it will stop. Obviously flashing means it's on. Then you can press the blue button and it will flush the toilet from the vehicle's freshwater tank with fresh water. So if you did want to use any pink or anything, you'd have to put it in a trigger gun, like an old Dettol bottle or anything, and spray and flush. But to use the toilet, what you need to do is you need to flush first, which lubricates the blade. Open the blade on the bottom of the bowl of the toilet, which is slide to the right. You can then use the toilet after use if you flush the toilet, and then if you slide to the left, it then shuts the blade. The blade does have to be shut to allow the cassette to come out the outside of the vehicle. So if you're ever trying to get it out and it will just simply won't move the cassette box, it's because the blade's open. And then on the back, obviously your lights will indicate when the cassette is full and requires to be emptied. Got your space under the sink for your toilet reeds, space above the toilet for your toilet reeds, your mirror with your lights on, and your lights are here. Same skylight is in the kitchen, so you just push, slide along, slide shut, and then you've got a blackout blind one side and a fly screen the other. So now in the bedroom area, so you've got your island bed, which you can lift up. So if you just lift the frame underneath, lift it all the way up, and you've got storage. And then to drop it, you've got to pull it all the way up, and then it will, if you pull it all the way up, it will then sit back down. So you've got your island bed, you've got storage in the top and storage in the bottom of your vanity unit there. To open your windows, you just lift the 4 levers, push it out, and then to keep it out, you just tighten the black knobs there, and you can bring it all the way in, shut it. Obviously loosen this first to bring it in, and then you've got a blackout blind and a fly screen. They will clip together, so to unclip, just depart the clip from both, and then you can have them down or in whichever way you want. Storage boxes on both sides of the bed, so you've got two this side and two this side. You've got your wardrobes on both sides, but this wardrobe does have your freestanding table in. Light switches there for your lights above and underneath, and then the two reader lights are individually switched. And then to open this skylight, it's slightly different. So you have a winder, and you would wind it open. So you can wind it open there, and then you can wind it closed. Always make sure it is closed, like I've said before. And then you do have your fly screen and your blackout blind. In the cupboards next to your kitchen, in this one you do have your telescopic aerial and booster. So we'll start with the booster. So green means it's found a signal, and then obviously you can min and max on here is just your booster, so it'll increase the signal or decrease the signal if it's too strong. But then if you were struggling to find a signal with the aerial down, what you can do is, there's a nut here, so if you loosen this off, you can then push the aerial up and use the toggle to direct the aerial on the roof, so it'll lean it from side to side, front to back, to find the best signal it can. But a tip for you with the aerial is look where your other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site, and point yours in a similar direction, and you should get a good enough signal. And then it'll save you having to adjust the aerial every 5 minutes and retune the telly. But always make sure it is fully pulled into the vehicle and tightened before you travel, so no wind gets underneath the aerial. And the next cupboard along, this is your EC500 electrical consumer box. So this is just imitated of the control panel, but you do have your black system shutdown button, so in the winter if you didn't want a power drain, you can just simply push and turn it off, and it'll simply isolate the full vehicle. You then do have all your 12 volt fuses, which are listed here, so it would be a good idea to carry some spares. You've got your charger, your space heater and your water heater on 240 volt, so leave these as they are and forget about them. The only time you might want to turn your water heater off is if you hook up and you don't have any water in, but you can just all control it through the Truma CP control panel, so just leave these as they are. And then you do have your trips, so your main RCD and your MCBs there on 240. So if you ever trip the vehicle out, try here before you try your main site. And you've got your build number, so should you ever need parts for this vehicle, quote this number to whoever you want parts off. They'll quote it to Auto-Trail, and then they'll get the right part for your vehicle. So to make the bed, what you will have to do is you will have to get rid of this boom arm table. You can lift it out of place, but the simplest thing to do is to unscrew this ever so slightly so the table then rotates. Turn the table on its side and then tighten it back up behind the passenger seat. So you can then lift it and turn it. So it stores the other way. Or you can lift it out and store it above the over cab locker. So for this we'll just remove it. And then to make the bed, what you need to do is you need to lift and slide. Obviously the back cushion falls in there. You can either have the back cushion in at the back, or you can push the base cushion back and remove the back cushion into the middle and do the same. So slide it along. And that back cushion, but what I'd suggest is that you turn all your cushions the other way As you can see, the back of the cushion is more flat than the front, as the front has a bull nose on for decorative reasons. And then what you do is you push the cushion in flat to the back, and there is your bed made. And then to operate your TV, what you need to do is turn the buckle at the front and release. If you did ever turn the buckle at the front and the TV didn't come down, there is a release lever at the back, which you'll just have to fish your hand around the back and release. And then you do have an on-off switch at the top, so we'll turn it on, and then we'll use the remote, point at the light and turn the TV on. Every time you do move sight, you will have to retune the telly, so now I'll show you your retuning steps, which is very simple. So all you need to do is press AQT, which is this orange button above the scroll there. Press and hold for about, and then ask you what country you're in. It's automatically set to the UK, just press OK, and then it'll start to do an auto tune and find as many channels in your area. If you can't find a channel, then you can press source here and turn it to DVD and put a DVD in the side, or HDMI and various other things should you need it. This TV is also satellite ready, so if you ever think, oh, I'm going to invest in putting a satellite on my motorhome, the Avtex TVs can take a satellite. So there's a built-in receiver box in the TV, and it can just be wired straight up to the Avtex TV. And now in the cab, so to the right of the driver, you do have your handbrake, which is just down here, and then on the door you have your electric windows and electric mirror adjustment, so you can do the top and bottom, which the bottom is a blind spot on you, so you just choose which one you want and then move the mirrors electronically. And then you do have Remus car blinds built in to the vehicle, so what you need to do is pinch and slide down, and then on the windows, pinch, slide into the middle, pinch, slide into the middle, and then they are just on a magnetic strip, so should it be a windy night, you might want to put something around the handle like a bobble or a elastic band to stop it pinging open during the night. And then down the right hand side of the steering wheel, you do have your headlight adjustments and rear fogs. This is your alarm indicator, which I'll get to at the end. Wipers with your trip computer, lights and indicators, cruise control at the top, off, and speed limiter. So to set, get up to speed, then you can put the cruise control on and just press up, which sets it. Obviously there's plus and minus here, so if you wanted to go any faster, pushing it up goes in ones, pushing and holding goes up in fives. And then should you ever have to put your foot on the brake, you can then just press resume on the end of the stalk and it will reset back to the original settings that you had to. So say you set it at 60 mile an hour, had to stop, press this, it will then go back to 60 mile an hour. 6-speed manual gearbox with button lifter collar for reverse, which brings on your rear view cameras on all the time, but if you're going to reverse, so you've got a camera there and one there, so that's slow down, that's from the top of the vehicle. So whoever's had this vehicle last has added this camera further down. You then do have traction control, so this turns it off. Hill descent control, which I'd forget about, it's more for an automatic, this is a manual. Hazards, locks the doors, so it locks. Passenger, driver and habitation door. So you just hit that on an evening, make sure that your other doors, like your garage and your other lockers, are closed outside. You've got a auxiliary and USB input for the head unit. You've got your temperature on the outside ring, fan speed on the in, must be on at least one or more for the aircon to work, which is your middle button here. You then do have your distribution, so where you want the air to go to, face, feet, screen, demist, and then you do have recirculating air and bringing fresh air from the front of the vehicle. A USB for charging purposes and a 12 volt. Obviously the USB down here does this head unit, so you turn it on there. FM AM head radio on the head unit. So you'd press 1 to 12 to save your favourite tracks. Media could either be CD, USB, auxiliary, Bluetooth audio, navigation, which is TomTom navigation, which then you can navigate to, and you can put an address in. You've got your phone, so you can connect your phone, so you go phone, settings, add a device, find Uconnect on your device, make sure the pins match, press pair on here, then ask you if you want to save and sync your contacts. Just press yes, download your phone book, and it'll sync all your contacts in there. Then if you do go to more, you can go to your trips, so you can view your trips through here as well as on the stalk through the middle. It'll tell you your trips since they were reset. On off, volume, and you can scroll through here. Glove box on the top, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning, and a glove box there at the bottom. So your engine batteries underneath this flap here, and to turn your seats you use the lever here. Turn, should it get stuck on the door, you just pull the seat forward or back, and then you can turn it into the rear to make your lounge bigger. So to set the alarm on the vehicle, so this is a Cobra, or should I say Vodafone Now category 1 alarm, and what you need to do is just lock the vehicle, and it'll lock and arm the vehicle. So it'll lock all the doors, arm the doors, and also arm the perimeter and interior of the vehicle. So should you want to arm it and just arm the perimeter and not arm the interior, obviously these sensors need to be turned off, which are your ultrasonic sensors, and to do so you need to get the key, put the key in the ignition, turn the ignition on, turn the ignition off. Within 6 seconds, press and hold, you'll see it flash. It starts flashing until it stops flashing like it has now. This has turned these off, but as soon as you then start the engine, it does go back to default. So you'd have to do that every time. And then this now brings us to the end of the handover demonstration on the Auto-Trail Delaware. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact Tyne Valley Motorhomes on 01207 272 777 or email sales@tynevalleymotorhomes.co.uk. Or should you be interested in a vehicle like this Auto-Trail Delaware, please contact our sales team and we can see what we can source for you. Thanks very much for watching this handover demonstration.